Today I'm reviewing a rather unusual bike. It's one that claims to be doing something completely new in the e-bike world. It's the ADO Air30 Ultra, and it claims to be the world's first integrated triple speed auto e-bike. Okay, before we go any further, I have to do a quick disclaimer here. Yes, ADO did send me this bike. In fact, they've lent it to me, so it's got to go back. But they are paying me to make this video. But that said, as usual, I'm just going to try and be as objective as I possibly can and simply go through this bike's features so that you can make up your own mind if it's the bike for you or not. My first impression is that the bike actually looks very good. It's clean, modern and minimal. All of the cabling has been hidden. It comes in this nice frost green colour. And my understanding is that it's been designed for everyday use, so for things like commuting and general leisure riding. At first glance, this bike might look like a single speed, and that's probably down to the carbon belt drive. And that's going to mean that the drivetrain is virtually maintenance free, so no oil, no rust, no mess, just quiet, smooth riding. And ADO claim that this belt will give you up to 33,000 kilometers. Being an e-bike, of course, it comes with a battery. And the good news about this one is that it is removable. And that means that you can take it out of the bike and charge it indoors. The other great thing is that when the battery inevitably reaches the end of its charge cycles and gets to the end of its life, you don't have to throw the whole bike away because you can't replace it. And of course, being an e-bike, it also has a hub motor. So this one is made by Bafang, so it's a very good brand. And this one is also 250 watts, which makes it completely road legal here in Europe. So of course, the big question now is, what is this bike like to ride? Let's take it out for a spin. Okay, let's dive straight in with the USP for this bike. That 250 watt Bafang motor also has a torque sensor that's constantly monitoring how hard you're pedaling so that it automatically changes gear for you. And the way it works is like this. When your speed exceeds 13 kilometers an hour, it automatically changes from first to second gear. And when it exceeds 19 kilometers an hour, it changes from second to third gear. Now, thinking about it, I think this is going to be a little bit Marmite. If you want a stress-free ride where you just get on the bike and not worry too much about changing gears, you're going to love it. But if you're like me, an old school cyclist, and you like to vary your cadence using the gears, well, yeah, it might not be quite so much fun. Riding the bike around like I am at the moment, I'm getting the feeling that it's actively trying to control how fast, or rather how slow, you're pedaling. I think the thinking here is that it's deliberately trying to slow you down so that you don't pedal too hard and get all out of breath, which is absolutely fantastic if you just want to ride and get to your destination cool and, you know, sweat free. But if you want to ride to get a little bit of exercise, then I think that might be a little bit tricky. The riding itself on this bike is actually pretty nice and smooth. And as you can imagine, this bike also has different power levels. It has 3 power levels, so I suppose low, medium and high. And I can really feel that the motor is responsive and powerful. It's having absolutely no problem getting me up this 3-4% climb at the moment. ADO are claiming that this bike will give you up to 100 kilometers or 62 miles range. But you have to bear in mind that that's obviously under ideal conditions. So a super light rider on a pan flat route using eco mode. In the real world, yeah, with a real life rider like me on a course that has a few hills, then yeah, it's going to be considerably less. I went out on this bike yesterday and did 20 kilometers, and I drained the battery by about 25%. Okay, so let's give this bike a proper hill test. I've come to a climb that I know is quite steep. It's about 6-7%. I'm on level 1 here, and I'm just sort of climbing up at 15.2 kilometers an hour. As you can hear, I am working a little bit. I'm a little bit out of breath. So yep, the motor's certainly helping. See level 2. So level 2 now. Can't really feel too much of a difference. Still going up at 15.7 kilometers an hour. Okay, so let's try level 3. Oh wow, that is significantly more power. Can really feel the motor doing some work now, and my speed has increased to 19 kilometers an hour. And it's certainly doing a lot of the work for me. Okay, well that's me at the top here, and when I come up here on my regular road bike, which isn't an e-bike, I'm actually pretty tired and gasping for breath. But as you can tell, I'm not out of breath at all. So obviously the motor has been very, very effective. Okay, just going up a climb here, very steep climb, and I can feel that the pedalling is slipping. It might be the band or the hub at the back there or something, but the gears were definitely slipping. As for the actual comfort of this bike, that's not all that easy to say, because this is only the second time I've ridden this bike, and it feels, you know, nice enough. But my first impression would be that the handlebars are a little bit on the low side. But that said, I think I did see some kind of handlebar raisers in the box that the bike came in. So I think in theory it might be possible to raise them. The bike doesn't have any suspension, but for me personally, that would be okay, because if it was mine, I probably wouldn't ride it off-road or anything like that. It does have a suspension seat post though, but I'll be honest and say that I find that a little bit annoying. I like to set my position so that I'm nice and comfortable on the bike and not change it. And with this seat post bouncing up and down, that's not the case. The bike has a really cool full colour screen on an out front mount, and as you would imagine, it displays all of the key metrics, so things like speed, power assist level, battery level, and odometers. My only grumble though is, yeah, it is a little bit on the dim side. Just a quick note from future me, I've come indoors to give you a clearer shot of the screen. Unfortunately, with the daylight, it was just very difficult to get it with the camera on the bike. This bike does also have a couple of other outstanding features. Firstly, it's the Tektro hydraulic brake, so that's another really good brand, so that's going to give you some impressive stopping power. And it's got a really cool little GPS module, so as far as I'm aware, there's no subscription to that or anything like that, so that if some nasty little tow rag decides to steal your bike, you'll know exactly where it is. And of course it's also got some lights, and these lights run off the bike's battery. There's a front light and a back light, and there's even some cool little indicators. Having ridden the bike for a few days myself now, what do I honestly think about it? Well, the pros are that it is a very nice looking bike. I wouldn't be ashamed to be seen riding it around, and that smooth, powerful motor with the 3 gears and the 3 levels of power assist is going to make it a very easy bike to ride. And of course, that removable rechargeable battery is just going to future-proof it for later. But on the downside though, yeah, unfortunately, It is one of the heaviest e-bikes that I personally have ever ridden. It weighs 22 kilos, and that is going to make life a little bit difficult at times. So for instance, if you're out and about riding and the battery goes flat, then you're just stuck with a very heavy bike. And similarly, it's going to make it very difficult to move it by hand anywhere. So for instance, if you live in a block of flats and you need to lug it up a load of stairs, that is not going to be fun. And yet those 3 gears are going to be very restrictive. They are only 3 gears, and being an old school cyclist myself, I like to vary my cadence. I like to be the one that decides how fast or how slow I'm pedaling and not have it dictated to me by the bike. And finally, that suspension seat post, it was just really annoying. I kept bouncing up and down and my position just kept constantly changing. So a big thank you to ADO for sending me the bike and letting me test ride it. If you have any questions, then please leave them in the comments and I will do my very best to answer them. Or alternatively, you can just click on the link in the description below and that will take you through to the ADO website. Thank you for watching and I'll see you on the next one.